Video games have been a popular form of entertainment since the 1980s. As time went on, they have evolved from 2D to 3D and now to realistic looking graphics. But like every form of entertainment, it has had its fair share of problems. As the internet has become more popular, companies have added a feature that allows consoles and handhelds to connect to the internet. This seemed great at the time, as now developers could update their games to fix bugs and glitches that slip through the cracks, as well as add fun updates to their games. This was a great feature at first, but as time goes on, developers have taken advantage of this feature, and now make half-baked games that use updates to add content that should have already been there in the first place. It has created a problem of false promises to the consumers. As the prices of games increase over the years, consumers should be paying between $60 and $70 for a product that isn't even finished. Games also rely on microtransactions to get consumers to pay for content that should have already been in the game. Years ago, when a game launched, it was expected that it would be fully completed. There would be barely any bugs or glitches, and all the content that was promised was there. If the developers failed to meet these expectations, the reviews and the sales would be horrible. For example, years ago, one of the most infamously bad games, E.T., the game was so bad and an absolute mess, no one would buy it. As the years go by, people complain about the missing content, all the glitches, but nothing ever happens. But more recent events have started to push the breaking point for a lot of people. When Cyberpunk 2077 came out in December 2020, it was an absolute mess. The game could not work on consoles and was barely playable on PC. It was also missing so much content on launch that CD Projekt Red had to keep updating it until it was in a playable state. The company kept saying that it would be an amazing experience, but it wasn't. They tried to cover up the mess before launch by shoving Keanu Reeves in everyone's faces, and only letting reviewers review it on PCs. The game received immense backlash for the state it was released in, and the developers are still trying to make it the game they promised. When Animal Crossing New Horizons released in March 2020, it was praised by critics everywhere, but as time went on, older fans of the franchise started to realize how much content was actually missing. The game was released in a playable state, and fans were promised 2 years of updates, but as the years went by, the updates added content from older games that should have been there to begin with, and they still haven't added a lot of older features. They eventually stopped updating the game after their big DLC pack was released. A lot of developers like to use a Battle Pass system to force players to pay for missing content from their games. A lot of the problems with missing content can be pointed to Fortnite. Fortnite popularized the use of Battle Passes being used to add content. Players have to pay with real money to unlock the Battle Pass. While most of them put items in that you really don't need to play the game, some of them have started locking important content behind a paywall. For example, Overwatch 2, a game focused on the characters and their abilities, put their newly released hero, Kiriko, in the Battle Pass at around tier 50, forcing players to pay for the Battle Pass system and grind it to unlock her. It seems that a lot of the blame should be put on the developers of the games, but that's not the case. Most of the blame should go towards the higher-ups who force employers to meet certain deadlines, even if it means having to crunch to get it done. But this still doesn't excuse the half-baked states of games on release. This problem might be at a standstill now, as companies like CD Projekt Red have been facing lawsuits against them by investors for the state of the games. Maybe this will finally be the wake-up call for other companies to not release half-baked games on launch.